Good evening. My name is Melissa Williams, and I'm the project lead for the Takoma Park Minor Master Plan Amendment. And as Roz stated earlier, this is a presentation of the working draft. So this slide provides the regional context for the plan. It shows our relationship to downtown Silver Spring. It also shows the relationship to Washington, D.C. and Prince George's County. And it also shows the proximity of the plan area to existing and proposed transit facilities. This plan, as stated in our previous presentation, is a minor amendment to the approved and adopted 2000 Takoma Park Master Plan. It's a joint effort with the City of Takoma Park. It is a minor amendment, but it has all of the details that you would normally see in a master plan. So that means it has its own vision, a defined boundary, and it provides recommendations such as land use and zoning, historic preservation, the environment, transportation, parks, and community and public facilities. So this is the plan timeline. You can look at that green arrow. It shows where we are right now. And we've made a lot of progress since fall of 2021, which is when the scope of work was first approved by the Planning Board. So we are now moving into that working draft phase. And so as Ross stated earlier, we will be presenting the working draft to the Planning Board on June 8th. So that's kind of that formal working draft presentation. And we're going to be asking for your support, a resolution of support, so that you can see where those red stars are located. So there's one at the working draft. There's also one at the Planning Board draft. And the Planning Board draft is the plan that goes to the County Council. And as always, it's important to note that they have final approval authority for the plan. And we are anticipating an approved and adopted plan, and that's if everything goes well, for late fall of 2023. And so the Takoma Park Minor Master Plan Amendment, as I stated, it's a joint effort. There was an MOU that was signed with the City of Takoma Park. We have held regular meetings. The plan and presentations have been given to both the City Council and the Planning Board as a part of the plan process. We also met with other stakeholders, including residents, business owners, and other organizations and entities with a vested interest in the future of the plan area. So now let's talk about the work that the team has completed to date. So once again, this is the background. You can see the plan area here. It's roughly 132 acres. As previously stated, that boundary was approved in 2021. This is the partnership that we are very excited about. And you can see all of the facilities that are located inside that boundary. So we have the Washington Adventist University. We have the former hospital. We have the Erie Center, which is that retail node at Flower and Erie Avenue. We also have a lot of multifamily residential along Maple and Lee Avenue. And then we have the municipal area, which is the Takoma Park Community Center and Library, Piney Branch Elementary School, and the Public Works buildings on Ritchie Avenue. So it's also important to note that plan recommendations for zoning are limited to that area that was within the boundary. So part of the plan process involved gathering information on existing conditions within the plan area. This included looking at demographics and the current physical development and physical conditions. So this provided staff with insight on the community, and it helped us prepare for the engagement process. And so this slide actually shows examples of kind of the big picture, what we saw and what we heard as we started our existing conditions process. So during our outreach and engagement, we discovered that not all stakeholders understood the planning process. And so we talked about this in our preliminary recommendations, that there was concern that their voices didn't or wouldn't matter. And so we just wanted to reiterate that equity and planning is a core tenet of our master plan process, and the team made significant effort to make sure that participants were given a variety of engagement opportunities. We also educated them on the planning process and how to best advocate for their communities, and to also see that their respective goals and desires were carried forward throughout the entire process. So the diversity of the community and the impact of the pandemic required that we be creative in our engagement process. So we had a multi-pronged approach that we also enlisted the aid of a translation service to make sure that documents and other materials were available in French, Spanish, and Amharic. We combine traditional outreach and engagement techniques such as pop-ups and attending community meetings, and we also use social media and other online strategies. The result was we met with more than 550 unique stakeholders. Our most significant effort involved meeting traditionally hard-to-reach communities through door knocking and canvassing. We actually had a consultant that we worked with knock on the doors of the multifamilies located on Maple and Lee Avenue. And then we also sent them back out into the community a few months later, and they actually worked with the students at Washington Adventist University. So they actually hosted a series of student-led activities to get their insight onto what they would like to see happen in the plan area. So all of that engagement provided us with takeaways and insights into how the stakeholders would like, how they see the community today, and what the residents and other stakeholders would like to see happen in the future. So what were those takeaways? As previously stated, they love living in Takoma Park. I can't tell you how many people told us that this is a great place to live and they can't imagine living anywhere else. But they were also concerned about affordability. There was a concern about being priced out in the future, and also the loss of the hospital and other assets. The potential loss of the swimming pool was something that came up quite a bit. They were excited about the potential for development on the Washington Adventist campus, with the goal of having additional public amenities like walkable retail and community gathering spaces. And they also were environmentally conscious. They wanted to make sure that this development didn't have any undue impact on Sligo Creek. So now let's talk about where we're going. That's the future of the plan area. The vision of the plan reflected the common themes that we heard throughout the engagement process. The stakeholders love the community. They want to see it protected. They were concerned about, they shared concerns regarding resiliency, the need for new uses for old spaces, and the desire for improved connections. And so this was the vision statement that was ultimately created. And I'll read that for you. It's: the planned area will build on existing assets to be a resilient, reimagined, and reconnected community with new housing and other uses, greener and safer streets, and improved access to amenities. So it's a pretty straightforward vision statement. So this is a map of the existing land uses. As you can see, the current land uses in the area are primarily institutional uses, such as those found in the municipal area and on the Washington Adventist campus. There's also an abundance of multifamily located along Maple and Lee Avenues, and a sizable amount of parkland. There was very little mixed-use development currently. This is what the plan is proposing. So it's a little different. The plan is proposing a more flexible land use pattern for the plan area, and what you see kind of shaded in that pink color, that's mixed. Those are all the areas where mixed-use development is possible. It is important to note that we also had a few properties within the planned area that currently have more density than what is allowed by their current zoning. These properties were highlighted on this map as a part of our existing conditions analysis. This is a map of the existing zoning. The current zoning patterns typically reflect the existing uses with the exception of the R60 zoning. In this plan area, the institutional uses and the parkland account for the majority of the R60 zone properties, and R60 would be your single family zoning. However, there is a significant amount of multifamily zoning, primarily along Maple, Lee, and Greenwood Avenues. There are also 2 overlay zones which predate our current mixed-use zoning tools. So the plan hopes to introduce the mixed-use development, and this would be accomplished by applying the mixed-use commercial family of zones. That's our CR zones. And so that would fulfill the plan's vision of a reimagined, resilient, and reconnected plan area. And so you can see here, this is a map that shows the proposed zoning, and I'll have additional detail on that as we get into the district section. So you'll actually be able to see a bigger breakout of that. So this section will focus on the new and improved uses for existing places and spaces. This is our reimagined section. And so this starts to talk about land use and zoning. The goal for the land use and zoning recommendations is to create pedestrian-friendly areas containing a variety of amenities and neighborhood-serving uses. The plan recommends flexible, compatible zoning that can be more adaptive to market conditions while retaining the community character. Once again, this is an opportunity to remove obsolete zoning and to address any zoning inconsistencies. The plan also sees an opportunity for new public amenities, including a green promenade. This would connect the planned areas to safer sidewalks, new and enhanced parks and open spaces, and has the potential for additional bike lanes. You can also see in the image to the right the types of uses that could occur within the green promenade. The plan will also make recommendations about new and improved public facilities, including co-location opportunities for recreation, schools, and safety and security offices. So now we'll talk about Reconnected. Sorry. The planned area has lots of access to transit, but hilly topography and aging sidewalks can make Maple and Flower Avenue feel disconnected. The plan makes reconnecting the community a priority. And so the previously mentioned Green Promenade will build upon the city's Maple Avenue connectivity project with improvements to sidewalks, bike and pedestrian connections, and the potential for new private streets on the Adventist campus. All private streets should be designed to meet the standards established by the Complete Streets Design Guide. And so I think it's important to note that we are not recommending any new public streets. When we talk about streets here, we're really talking new streets. We're talking about the private streets and the potential for those on the Washington Adventist properties. And so, hold on a second here. The plan reconfirms the bikeway recommendations of the 2018 Bicycle Master Plan and offers updated recommendations for bikeways along roadways where necessary to align with the 2021 Complete Streets Design Guide. And while there are continuous sidewalks throughout most of the plan area, there are some streets where there are sidewalks on only one side of the street or existing sidewalks are narrow and or obstructed. The plan proposes improved lighting, contiguous, unobstructed ADA accessible sidewalks on both sides of all streets, and upgrading crosswalks at all intersections. This includes the Carroll Avenue SHA alignment project, which proposes pedestrian improvements along Carroll Avenue near the Washington Adventist campus, and also provides for new ADA accessible sidewalks and other pedestrian infrastructure. So the plan focuses on ensuring safe use of roadways for all users, including pedestrians, bicyclists, transit users, and motorists, and does not, once again, recommend any new public roads. There is an opportunity for private streets to improve connectivity on the Washington Adventist campus, and the design of any new private streets would need to be consistent with the Complete Streets Design Guide and must be open to the public. So reimagining a community also provides opportunities for preservation. I wanted to note that on May 10th, the Historic Preservation Commission held a work session and public hearing on the 3 sites listed on the slide and found that each meets the county's historic designation criteria. The Historic Preservation Commission recommended that the Planning Board list these sites in the locational atlas and index of historic sites, and recommended their designation in the master plan for historic preservation. Additionally, our plan recommends studying the Takoma Park's historic African American neighborhoods, promoting the area's cultural heritage, and seeking opportunities to retain and reuse historical design elements and resources. Additionally, the plan recommends the study of the Washington Adventist University for a historic district. Climate resiliency is the capacity to anticipate, cope, and manage the impacts from climate change. Staff identified the most egregious climate threats such as stormwater management, extreme heat and storms, and developed recommendations to adapt and mitigate its unpredictability. Extreme heat is Montgomery County's #1 climate threat. Temperatures are escalating and are exacerbated by a combination of radiating heat and the absence of sufficient tree canopy cover. The plan proposes a variety of methods to address these concerns, including increasing tree canopy and integrating sustainable design development and engineering practices. Carbon sequestration is the process of capturing and storing atmospheric carbon dioxide. It reduces the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and its associated climate impacts and vulnerabilities. Increasing forest trees and other planted areas and reducing impervious cover are some of the best forms of carbon sequestration. And these are the methods that are, some of the methods that are recommended in the plan. Impervious surfaces prevent stormwater from infiltrating into the ground, causing runoff that transports debris, oils, and other pollutants into Sligo Creek. The plan seeks to reduce the impervious surface cover within the plan area, which is roughly 47%, with minimal associated stormwater treatments. The plan recommends supporting the city's stormwater management efforts and recommends a variety of methods to reduce stormwater runoff, flooding rates, and impervious surface cover on existing and new development, and to improve water quality to Sligo Creek. Improving energy efficiency, reducing energy demand, increasing on-site energy production, and decreasing embodied carbon emissions are essential to meeting the city and county's net zero carbon emissions goals by 2035, and the plan recommends a variety of methods to meet those goals. Urban agriculture is an important tool in ensuring that all people have access to safe, sufficient, and nutritious food. The plan supports opportunities that can increase the capacity to produce and access sustainable, healthy foods. Sorry, moving a little fast here. As a part of the engagement process, a canvassing effort was made in the multifamily residential units. These recommendations reflect the comments that we heard from the residents. They love living in the area and were afraid of being priced out. There was also a desire to see a variety of housing types and the need for more code enforcement. The plan also encourages the introduction of MPDUs into new development as another tool to retain affordability. The planned area is home to numerous parks and open space, including the Sligo Creek Stream Valley Park, which is one of the largest parks within the planned area. The plan makes recommendations to improve its ecological health and performance, including the Brashear's Run outfall. There are also opportunities for placemaking and natural and cultural resource interpretation. There will be additional parks recommendations are found in the district section. To better organize the plan, it was divided into 3 districts. Each has focused recommendations that relate to its unique conditions. These districts are the Municipal District, the Maple Avenue District, and the Flower Avenue District. The Municipal District is the civic heart of the city of Takoma Park. It includes numerous municipal functions, many of which are located within the community center, and is also home to the Piney Branch Elementary School and the Takoma Park, Maryland Library. The plan recommends that the zoning in the municipal area be consistent with the zoning proposed for other properties along Maple Avenue. City and school properties now zoned only for single-family houses will be rezoned to a mixed-use zone with a maximum FAR of 2.5 and a maximum height of 150 feet. And this is to increase flexibility for future development. The properties, and that would be the properties 5 and 6 that are located on Oswego, will be rezoned to R40, which is a single-family zone that allows for duplexes. Additionally, the following improvements should be made to the Takoma Piney Branch Local Park. This includes additional lighting to improve safety and allow for extended usage of the park, along with opportunities for additional trail connections. There is also an opportunity for a unique gateway concept and improved connectivity as a part of the Green Promenade. The Maple Avenue District is the planned area's established residential center. It acts as the spine of the planned area and culminates at the Sligo Creek Stream Valley Park. Additionally, the bulk of the residents within the planned area live here and are served by a small node of neighborhood serving retail. This district is characterized by attractive tree canopy and steep topography. The plan sees the opportunity for a reimagined Maple Avenue and provides flexibility in zoning. This is also an opportunity to address obsolete and inconsistent zoning. Efforts to retain affordability, sufficient parking, and minimize environmental impact should also be taken. The plan proposes that the existing multifamily zone properties be rezoned to a mixed-use zone with a maximum FAR of 2.5 and a height of 150 feet. And so that would be for the properties that are fronting onto Maple. And so you can see that in the slide, that would be all of the properties except for 10 and 12. Those properties have a maximum FAR of 1.5 with a 65-foot height. It is important to note that the current maximum building height in this district today is 140 feet. So we already have at least one or two really tall buildings on Maple Avenue. And so I'm gonna show you the slides because this is a very long district, so you're essentially seeing the rest of the zoning recommendations that go with that language. And so now
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I just have one little question or quibble. Could you specify what the stories version of the heights are so that people would know?
12?
It's about 10 feet.
That's kind of what I thought, but I just wanted to say it.
Oh,
Like,
okay. A 10-story building? 150 converts to a 10-story
Each floor is
building?
about 10.
It's 10 feet per floor, so 150 feet would be about 15 stories.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, the plan sees an opportunity for, I'm sorry, gotta jump ahead. Okay. In addition to implementing the green promenade mentioned earlier, the plan sees an opportunity to incorporate and expand upon the goal of the city's Maple Avenue connectivity project. This would make it safer and easier to get around the community. It also looks for opportunities to improve upon and enhance existing infrastructure. So one such improvement could be the use of existing parkland at the intersection of Maple Avenue and Sligo Creek Parkway. The plan recommends studying the feasibility of an alternative use for this land. Additionally, the plan recommends studying the potential of a community garden at Opal A. Daniels Park. Other park improvements could include improvements to the ecological health and function of the Sligo Creek Stream Valley Park. That would include upgrading the park to address the ecological function and health, and then also implementing the Sligo Creek Gateway concept. Including collaborating with the City of Takoma Park on, we're also looking at Brashear's Run, which would include collaborating with the City of Takoma Park on improved stormwater management and the restoration of the area. And so you can see here, this is an image of Brashear's Run, and we would be looking at addressing the failing outfall infrastructure and also looking at repair to the unstable banks. Similar efforts are supported for Sligo Waterworks to restore the dam and incorporate a fish passage project. The Flower Avenue District represents the past and the potential of the planned area, and it is home to the Washington Adventist University and the former Washington Adventist Hospital, as well as the community hub of the Erie Center and a variety of housing types. Excuse me. The owners of the Washington Adventist properties have met with plan stakeholders, including residents, regarding their goals for the campus. The plan recognizes their desire for flexible redevelopment tools and recommends that the current single-family zoning be replaced with a mixed-use zone that provides options and allows for the creation of some public amenities and facilities desired by residents and other stakeholders. A maximum FAR of CR 1.25 with heights ranging from 70 to a maximum of 120 feet is proposed for the campus, and this would include the hospital. A less intensive CRT mixed-use zone is recommended for those properties located along Greenwood Avenue. Those are the properties that are closest to the existing single-family community. This development should also take care to minimize its impacts to Sligo Creek. The plan also supports the continuation of the Erie Center as a retail node and seeks to ensure its compatibility with adjacent residential uses. The current mix of residential and mixed-use zones should be rezoned to a mixed-use CRN zone. The majority will have a maximum FAR of CRN1 with a 45-foot height. Inconsistent and obsolete zoning will also need to be corrected as a part of this effort, and those would require a maximum height of 50 feet. So there are a few properties where we did have to have a maximum 50-foot height, and those are properties 30 and 33, as shown on the table.
Say again because what?
I'm sorry?
Say again because what?
Because they are currently, when we talked about non-conforming properties in the earlier slides, Those are examples of properties that are non-conforming, and we had to give them a little more height because they're already that tall today. And so the need for improved connections to and across the Washington Adventist University campus was heard during the community engagement process. The plan supports a variety of methods to improve access, including new pedestrian infrastructure such as the planned SHA Carroll Avenue realignment project, and also the implementation of a micromobility hub. The Green Promenade would culminate on the Washington Adventist property and would include improved connections to the Sligo Creek Stream Valley Park, and attractive gateways, and a connection to a recommended 1/2 acre green space, public green space on the campus. And there's also the dedication of the Sligo Creek slope easement to the Parks Department. And so if you look on the map, it's probably a little faint, but that would be that gold hashing that is adjacent to the former hospital site, but also is currently today exists as a part of the Sligo Creek Stream Valley Park. So that's the piece that we're talking about. I don't know if you can see my arrow. I just want to make sure everyone sees that. And the plan also supports design principles that seek to retain, renew, and reimagine the physical character of the Washington Adventist campus and other significant areas within the Flower Avenue district. This includes retaining the Central Commons as an organizing feature for development on the campus. It also speaks to renewing the historic physical and visual connection to the Stream Valley Park. We're also looking at, even as a part of that SHA project that I spoke about, retaining those crenellated stone retaining walls and reusing and repurposing those, and then also looking for opportunities for the adaptive reuse of existing campus buildings. And so what's next? This is actually getting towards the end of the presentation, and I'm sure you're gonna have plenty of questions, but what's next is the City of Takoma Park actions. We're asking today to provide a resolution of support to recommend that the planning board accept the working draft as the public hearing draft for the Takoma Park minor master plan amendment, and that would be that meeting that we would have with the planning board on June 8th. And then we're asking that the City of Takoma Park support that the planning board set a public hearing for July 13th.